from the streets of Jerusalem to Jewish neighborhoods of New York, the worst measles outbreak in decades continues to grow.
Some groups of ultra-Orthodox that have been exposed to measles in Israel have gone back to the States. I heard there's an outbreak in Brooklyn that began here in Israel. Yes, and especially in these areas where people are less vaccinated.
68 cases have been confirmed in Rockland County, New York, and another 24 in Brooklyn, almost all among ultra-Orthodox Haredi Jews who have very low vaccination rates.
They don't like to get orders from an external body, then the community, the rabbis, or whatever. So it's a general thing of no confidence. The second thing is that from the religious point of view, we should trust God, we should do other things than to get all kinds of vaccination.
In Israel, that's led to the worst outbreak in decades. More than 1,500 cases this year with a fatality, an 18-month-old ultra-Orthodox child. And some religious leaders are saying there is no excuse not to vaccinate when lives are at risk.
More and more rabbis say it's not only permission, it's kind of commitment to do whatever we can in order to protect our life.
Israel's health ministry launched a campaign to ban unvaccinated people from hospital wards and massively increased the vaccination rate in ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods in Jerusalem. Now, New York has followed suit, banning unvaccinated children from attending schools where the immune rate is less than 80%. The outbreak is a global one. More than 40,000 cases have been confirmed in Europe, and now over 150 in the United States, and growing rapidly. Ariel Levin-Waldman.
Shalom, family trendsetter. Real quick, I want to piggyback on that video we just watched, where on the news you see amongst the Orthodox Jews in New York City, Brooklyn, they're having measles. It's a measles outbreak. Now, what struck me most is the fact that it's only amongst the Jewish community. Now, I'm sure other people probably contracted this measles, but they're focusing primarily on the Jewish community. Jewish community, right? Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, even though I don't subscribe to the New Testament, but I do rock with those two particular passages in the New Testament. Now, why is it only amongst the Jewish population? It began in Israel, right? The children was contracting the measles in Israel, that place where they don't belong, that they're occupying right now. Not even the Palestinians belong there, but I would give them more reverence over these Jewish people that don't belong over there, because you got to understand something, family. In order to assume our identity, they had to hide who we are as a people. This is why they put us into captivity. There was the one that actually financed the slave trade. You know what I'm saying? The transatlantic slave trade. In order to assume our identity, once again, they had to put us into bondage, into captivity, steal our identity. We pretty much, was discontinued from having our heritage, so they assumed that. And what they actually do to add insult to injury, they actually promote the rap music and videos that you see on TV. So much so now, if someone was to say, look, we are the chosen people, people will look at us and laugh at us, because they'll say, y'all are the chosen people, you niggas are the chosen people, the one that wear their pants hanging down, always smoking weed, gang banging and all that. Y'all are the chosen people, get the fuck out of here. That's why what they would say to us, because it's hard for them to fathom that we are the chosen people, because these devils have assumed our identity. They're basically following our custom, not 100%, because most of their custom is geared towards the Kabbalah, right, or the Talmud. But for the most part, they try to act like they're us. But when you confront one of them and ask them to break down scriptures in the Old Testament, they have a problem with doing it, because what they're doing, family, they want the benefit of being a so-called Jew, the chosen people, but when it comes down to it, they don't know nothing about the Torah. They might try to, quote certain scriptures throughout the Torah and talk about, well, we don't really deal with the Torah only, we do with the oral law, which is, I don't know what the fuck that is. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening now, the Most High is pouring out his judgment on these devils for assuming our identity, for destroying his people. Notice how, even now in Israel, a lot of them are contracting skin cancer because they're in a region that they don't belong. All praise be to the Most High for that, of course. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High now is pouring out the 10 plagues of Egypt once again on the Gentile heathen nation, because they have his chosen people, the apple of his eye, the real chosen people, right? The one that was given the law, statutes, and commandments. 2, the one that our heritage was discontinued, was taken away from us, stripped from us, and now they give us this religion called Christianity and Islam to substitute our religion. But the Most High is seeking these devils out and destroying them. So when you see their children, their offspring, contracting these diseases, don't feel sorry for them, because when we was going through our beating, you know what I'm saying, our trials and tribulation, our curse, if you will, there was no way to be found. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know not all of them are wicked, because you do have a lot of them that actually believe that they are the chosen people. A lot of them are religious. But for the most part, most of them are political, Zionist devils. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to understand, family, that y'all going to see more plagues of Egypt pour out on these devils. And in closing, remember when I told y'all last year in my video that something major is going to happen in New York? So far, we are seeing where you have the shutdown that's affecting a lot of government workers. Then you had those lights that lit up the New York sky. Now you're hearing that the measles outbreak is in New York City, more than ever. I guess, as they said, it's the worst outbreak in decades, right? So this goes to show you that I wasn't wrong about the prophecy, because see, when the Most High give you a prophecy for you to prophesy, when he give you a vision or a dream, right, it's not going to be exactly how it's presented to you in that vision or dream. But that prophetic vision that I had gotten, I should say, was stating that something is going to happen in New York. Now, it didn't tell me what it was, who it was going to affect. It just said it was going to affect New York City. And I told y'all that. And I'm sure many of y'all remember that video that I made. So I'm saying this to say, with this particular prophecy I'm about to tell y'all that I've gotten 2-3 days ago. This is why I haven't made any videos. Only yesterday I made a video, because I wanted to make sure that it was correct. Before April, family, before April, we are going to see something so devastating, right, that a lot of us are going to be casualty of it. So I'm saying this to say, once again, this is a warning. Continue stacking up while you have the opportunity to do so. That fiat money you have in the bank, that monopoly money that y'all are banking, you know what I'm saying, just relying upon, you need to pull that shit out and start buying tangible stuff. Buy some water, food items, some clothing, warm clothing, because we are going into the winter. And I'm telling you, something major is going to happen. We are going to be without power for about 6 months. Because the Bible did prophesy, even though I don't subscribe to the New Testament, because see what they have done, family. They have taken a lot of the prophecy from the Old Testament, the book of remembrance, and put it in their New Testament doctrine. So that when you see prophecy fulfilling, you say, see, the New Testament is legit. I'm telling you, these are some cunning, evil geniuses. So a lot of these prophecies that you see fulfilling in the New Testament, they have plagiarized the Old Testament, the book of remembrance, right? Gotten these prophecies and put it in the New Testament to solidify their Savior, white Jesus, the Son God, the Son deity. Okay, so I want y'all to understand something, that they are evil genius. So I would say to y'all, read the prophecy in the New Testament, because it's going to come through. Because once I said they plagiarized the Old Testament, the book of remembrance, getting these prophecies that the Most High gave to the prophets. And this is why you see it's coming true. So you better start planning for these prophecies to fulfill. We are going to go into a state of darkness. The Bible said we're going to have the blood moon, which is supposed to be happening soon. And then we're going to go into darkness, 3 days of darkness. I think it's going to be more than that. You know what I'm saying? So with that, family, I say peace and blessing and a shalom to everyone.